it just fine when you guys get there? Just like
Yeah, let me just make sure
No,
the
was
Zoom's
that supposed to be me? I'm sorry.
That's a good way to do it.
Look how many tabs I have open. I'm drowning.
so he can
Yeah,
drive. You're driving with him. You want him to sleep.
I'm sleeping in the car. I'm going to drive.
Can you check if it is now?
We're filming a series called we're filming a series called On the Road with Kat and Mar, but it's you driving and I talk. It's really fun.
I'll do one too with the delegates. We can like coordinate.
The time is now 6:34 p.m. I call this meeting to order. I invite Vice President Jenna Ejam to the podium to deliver a land acknowledgement.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. In the 1990s, my parents found safety in Canada after leaving Iraq due to the war. I was then born in Canada and left at age 2 to live in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, where I embraced the local culture there for 15 years. When I returned to Canada for university, I recognized that I had not grown up learning about the Indigenous communities in school, and therefore I took intentional steps to educate myself. I completed Indigenous learning modules through my university, but beyond self-education, I participated in Indigenous-led initiatives, including the Anishinaabe Water Walk. That experience in particular deeply resonated with me as an act of learning and connection with my own traditions. As we walked along the Dashkan Zibi, known as the Thames River, holding tobacco, which is considered a sacred medicine to the Anishinaabe, in our hands, I learned about the spiritual relationship with water, land, and all living beings, and saw how these mirrored beliefs in my own culture where water holds deep significance as a source of cleansing and spiritual renewal. As a non-Indigenous person to Turtle Island, I recognize that I benefit from the very settler colonial systems that continue to displace and disadvantage Indigenous communities. I've learned that reconciliation means continuously listening, learning, recognizing, as well as leveraging my positions in academia, leadership, and advocacy to amplify Indigenous voices. It means supporting Indigenous-led initiatives, advocating for systematic changes, and confronting colonial structures that perpetrate harm. Though my journey toward reconciliation began later than many, it is one of intention, responsibility, and lifelong learning, something all settlers must take upon themselves. I encourage you all to participate in Indigenous learning during your undergraduate studies, enroll in an Indigenous course, read and apply the Indigenous Allyship Guide and the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's Call to Action, show up to Indigenous-led events such as the Powwow and the Indigenous Lacrosse Game that is happening this Friday at 8 p.m. Also support Indigenous artists and storytellers. And if you're curious where to begin, ask. There are people and resources on campus who will help you get you started. With that, the USC acknowledges that Western University is situated on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Lenapehouk, Chinonton, and Ottawaran peoples on lands connected with the London Township and Sombra Treaties of 1796 and the Dish with One Spoon Covenant Wampum. This land continues to be home to diverse Indigenous peoples whom we recognize as contemporary stewards of the land and vital contributors to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Ejam. So we still don't have a Western song, so we got rid of it from the agenda. But I can motion to amend it if Councillor Bowes does volunteer to sing it for us today.
Oh.
We'll talk about that off the record. Councillors, please head to Echo 360 to record your attendance. The session ID is located here on the slideshow and in the agenda. Thank you, Councillor. Moving on to the approval of the agenda. On today's agenda, we have our executive report presentations from President Henriquez, VP Ejam, VP Saeed, VP Welpley, VP Massey, and VP Ahmed. We then have a budget process presentation from President Henriquez, an in-camera executive advocacy update presentation, and a board of directors report from Grace Wu. Our 4 action items include the motion to approve executive reports, the motion to approve updates to the speaker terms of reference, the motion to approve updates to the deputy speaker terms of reference, the motion to approve updates to the council summer authority policy, the motion to approve updates to the council resignation or replacement policy, and the University Affairs budget submission recommendations. Regarding the University Affairs budget submission recommendations, this item was submitted after the agenda deadline. It was reviewed by the Standing Committee as a discussion item and subsequently referred to ACOSC, which affirmed by majority vote that it was eligible to be added to the general meeting agenda. Can I get a mover for the approval of the agenda, please? Councillor Betty. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Bose. Are there any questions regarding the approval of the agenda? President Henriquez.
Motion to table the in-camera executive advocacy update to the next meeting.
Can I get a seconder, please? I don't have my glasses on, Councillor.
Councillor Bobkowitz.
Councillor Bobkowitz.
I can provide a rationale. We are about to go on a very, very long advocacy trip, so there will be probably more updates at the next meeting than there would be at this one. So we'll have fun things to say next time about our time in the wonderful city of Sudbury, as well as our lobbying at Queen's Park and Parliament ahead of the fall budgets.
Are there any questions to this table? Are there any amendments or points of debate? Are there any objections? All in favor, please raise your placard. Please lower your placard. All opposing, please raise your placard. All abstaining, please raise your placard. The table passes. With the table now, and with the approval of the agenda with that, are there any questions regarding the motion? Are there any amendments or points of debate? Are there any objections? Please head to Echo 360 to vote. The motion passes. Moving on to the approval of the minutes. Can I get a mover to approve the September USC General Council meeting minutes? Councillor Kattenbotter. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Wasti. Are there any questions regarding the approval of the minutes from the last meeting? Are there any amendments or points of debate? Are there any objections? Please head to Echo 360 to vote. The motion passes. Moving on to my comments. In ACUSC, we voted to start this meeting time at 6:30 p.m. As you all know, please expect all council meetings for the rest of the year to also begin at 6:30. I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but attendance, as I've been saying, is very, very important. We got some proxy and regrets forms after the deadline again for this meeting. You must ensure you're sending your proxy and regrets forms at least 24 hours before the start time of the meeting. Please refer to the Councillor Accountability and Discipline Procedure for the attendance policy. As I was saying during the last meeting, we have councillors who we can technically motion to remove from council at this point. And again, the Councillor Accountability and Discipline Procedure also applies to standing committee meetings. Thank you to those who attended their standing committees this month. quorum was not met for 2 of the 3 standing committee meetings this month. Luckily, those committees had no 4 action items, but if they did, it would not be able to get approved for ACUSC or the council meeting. We got to treat standing committee meetings like these general council meetings we have to ensure everything runs smoothly throughout the year. As you all know, it's currently by-election season. Once all of our new councillors are elected, Isabel and I are going to host some training sessions for both the new councillors as well as you current councillors. We're going to go more in depth on Robert's rules and debate procedure, have a mock meeting with different scenarios that could happen, go over councillor attendance and other beneficial training sessions for you all. Look out for an email from me after reading week with more information on this. It'll kind of be like the retreat we had this summer, but a bit more extensive. Before this meeting begins, I wanted to remind you all of a bit about council procedure. Anything said during a debate should be directed to me rather than the councillor you are debating. Additionally, if we are still in question period during a motion, please ensure you're framing your questions as questions rather than a debate. After questions, I'm always going to give you the opportunity to debate. When asking questions or debating, a speaking order is created on the spot by Isabella. This will be based off of, it'll be in alphabetical order. For each session, each councillor will get a maximum of 2 opportunities to speak. Councillors can speak a second time only once everyone has had the chance to speak once. Additionally, councillors are only permitted to speak a maximum of 10 minutes in a question or debate session. Isabella, Dane, and I would like to welcome the new elected councillors to the USC Council. New councillors, would you like to raise your hand and introduce yourself? Yes, councillor. Yes, councillor.
My name is Gurveer Jassi, and I'm the engineering counselor.
And yes, councillor.
I'm Jacob. I'm the new music counselor.
We'll have some more new councillors at the November meeting as well, so you'll see some new faces then. And a happy early birthday to the Gazette Editor-in-Chief, Sophia Scheffler. Lastly, this is a 1-part meeting, so we will not be meeting next week. Let's get this started. I invite President Henriquez to the podium to present her council executive report.
Hey divas, hope everybody's doing well. Ask me about texting my new best friend Simuliu. Guys, after the mental health event on the 8th, me and the entire executive team and a few of the rec center staff played volleyball with Simuliu. And after he DM'd me on Instagram, he told me that I was doing a great job. So now we're best friends. Please ask me about that. I have a screenshot if you'd like to see it. So top 3 highlights. Accepting a serve from Simuliu. I've since learned that if someone in volleyball, if someone hits a serve to you and you hit it back and you score on them, it's called accepting a serve. I did that. It was very exciting. Being a cheerleader for 30 seconds. I was going back in my calendar to try to figure out some exciting things. At the 60th anniversary of the USC, which we celebrated during HOCO at the football game, I learned from a president from 1998 who was there. He's now a professor at Waterloo, that there used to be this thing, not really sure if he was lying to me or not, that at the football game, they used to throw the president in the air, basket toss them in the air. I said, that's not for me personally, but the cheerleaders did lift me in the air, and I do have a video of me begging them to put me down. So if you'd like to see it, let me know. And 2 Friendsgivings. Omar and Saad both hosted Friendsgivings and invited the whole executive team. We had a great time. Saad made a curry at his that was not thickening, so I got to FaceTime Saad's mom to figure out how to thicken his curry. It was wonderful. I had a great time. Updates. As you can tell, I really went through my calendar for this update series. I learned the life hack that you have to go back to your calendar from the point where the last meeting's items were due until this meeting now. So I had a lot of catching up to do. A couple of weeks ago, can't tell you when because I don't remember, Omar and I attended the Downtown London Summit, which is, I'm sure he'll tell you more about in his report. Maybe he won't. Who knows? But the Downtown London Summit was like a collection of like stakeholders in the London community, mainly members of the Chamber of Commerce, a bunch of the city councilors talking about like, how do we revitalize the downtown? And like, how do we get people there? And how do we do all these things? And I said, give me affordable housing and a bus and I will get people there. So that was a very fun discussion. CTV interview on transit. We delegated to the LTC a couple of weeks ago, which we will also hear about in Omar's report. And the CTV was there, and they asked us questions about busing, and we answered, and we said we would love bus rapid transit for students. We would love for buses to stop skipping students at their stops. We would love for more buses on the road. We advocated for the return of some routes. We advocated for data. Things were very exciting. Homecoming was very, very excellent. As I said, I was lifted in the air. It was really exciting. We started what I hope will be a new USC tradition where we handed out a bunch of the leftover snacks from a week just like in the road. So we were like handing out Rice Krispies and Mott's Fruit Stations and stuff. People seemed to be having a really good time. There was a cheer, pro USC cheer in front of MedSid. So that was very exciting. Teaching from Elder Mike on the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. So the executives attended part of the sunrise ceremony held at the Wampum Learning Lodge on National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And the elder who's there, Elder Mike, actually requested to give the executive a teaching as we're like leaders on campus. And so we canceled all of our meetings in the afternoon to go back. And it was actually probably one of the like most transformative things I've learned in this job. I would highly recommend spending some time at the Wampum Learning Lodge and spending some time with Elder Mike if you can. He is truly incredible and had a lot of things to teach us. The whole exec team, with the exception of Reagan, who was doing some very, very busy orientation-y things, met with Parliamentary Secretary Kareem Bardisi, who is the Parliamentary Secretary for Industry federally. Had a really productive meeting, and I think we are working on seeing him again when we're in Ottawa in a couple of weeks. West is it's an entrepreneurship meeting out of Morissette, and the president sits on that board to kind of help advise on how to give students more access to entrepreneurial opportunities. So I had my first meeting of that. Jenna and I had our first meeting with the Navitas staff and the Western International College team. So as you know, in May, the University Senate recommended to the Board of Governors the approval of a international college at Western, so to offer like a Bridger program and work with Navitas on recruitment. And so we're working really closely with the Western International College team to make sure that there are wraparound supports for international students coming through that program and making sure that they have access to all the same opportunities and all the same services as you all. So Jenna's been working really hard on that. I had my first campus council. So campus council is a working group that I sit on along with most, if not all, of like high-level senior leadership. So that's chaired by Lynn Logan, who's the vice president operations. Dr. Shepard sits on that committee. Dr. Hayden Beatty sits on that committee. The vice provost students, Florentine, Dr. Shalchak sits on that committee. The head of special constables, the head of the union, a bunch of people. And it's just a forum for people to get updates on, government relations, on issues on campus, on any of the strategic plans and stuff. So it was really interesting to sit in that meeting and hear all those updates. Supporting Muslim and Jewish student campus clubs. So ahead of October 7th, I met with several members of the Jewish community on campus, the Muslim community on campus. I met with the PCC, and we had some discussions around EDI, student safety on campus. Worked really closely with the Office of EDI as well as the Vice Provost students. Simu Liu visit. As you know, we're best friends. He texted me. It was very exciting. I watched a member of Western administration give Simu Liu his first labubu. Yes, I did. He got one of the specialty labubus. Like there's only one in every 75, and he was very excited about it. He Googled it in the moment. He's like, no way. It was worth like $300. He was very excited. And roundtable with MPP Kernahan. So MPP Kernahan is our local member of provincial parliament. He is the shadow critic for small businesses, and he hosted a roundtable alongside the London Chamber of Commerce on small businesses and sports for small businesses, and I attended on behalf of the USC to talk about work integrated learning opportunities in small businesses for Western students and how we can work with all levels of government and all parties to help sustain the small business sector to provide opportunities for young people, especially young people who are studying at Western. Upcoming, Omar, Jenna, and I are getting up real early tomorrow. We're leaving at 5 a.m. for USC's Fall GA, which is happening at Laurentian, which is in Sudbury. Taking a few counselors with us, I want to say. I don't know, I looked at the list very long ago. We're taking a lot of people with us too, so we're very excited. And we'll be gone for 4 days. And then after that, I am still away on some Toronto and Ottawa advocacy trips. So obviously Queen's Park, the House sat last week, so we're going to do some advocating at Queen's Park. And then we'll be in Ottawa advocating to the federal government kind of in and around the fall budget being released. So lots of exciting things. We'll have a lot of exciting updates when we're back. I want to say it's Jenna's turn. Jenna's turn? Jenna's turn.
Thank you, President Enriquez. I invite VP EJM to the podium for her exec report.
Hello again. So my asking about is my coffee addiction. I drink a lot of coffee. I'm drinking a coffee right now. I don't know why, but the fall drinks are really good. There's a lot of really good options, and I've tried all of them. They're so good. Anyway, I love coffee. So top 3 highlights, as Kat mentioned, we played volleyball with Simu Liu. That was fantastic. It was so good. I played volleyball in high school, so it was really great. And we had the whole team get up to do drop-in to practice the day before to kind of warm up and get ready for it. So it was really fun. I also had a bachelorette girl weekend. One of my best friends from high school is getting married, so I went this past weekend to go visit, and a lot of our friends from all over the place went, and it was just really wholesome and refreshing and nice to see everybody again. And then also, as Kat mentioned, teaching with Elder Mike on National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. It was honestly really meaningful and got to learn a lot, and I think it was just really special in general to be able to have that hour. As Kat mentioned, we canceled our meetings, and just having that hour to sit with him was just really nice to kind of hear what he had to tell us as student leaders. And then I also saw my sister in Toronto 2 weekends ago, so that was really nice. I haven't seen her in a couple months, so that was nice. So some updates. Mental Health Day Fair. I hope some of you were able to go. It was really successful. It was from 10 to 3 p.m. On October 8th, and there was a petting zoo. A lot of different groups were there, and it was really great. And then it was followed with the Simu Liu talk at the Alumni Hall. And then I also got to sit on the Simu Liu Planning Committee, so that was a really great experience to kind of work with different departments across campus and student experience to kind of plan for that whole event and the logistics and kind of working on the run sheet because the time had to be followed quite tightly. So it was really great to work on that committee as well. And then also planning for the Academic Rights and Responsibilities Fair. This is coming up on November 13th from 11 to 2. We have not done this one before, so I'm really excited to kind of get this one together, working with different departments across campus. So the ombudsperson, the vice provost of academic programs office to kind of talk about academic considerations, the student absence portal, just different kind of supports and resources on campus, the libraries as well. And we're actually going to be having a Kahoot halfway through where the prize is going to be a study room at Weldon for the entire exam season. So I think this is a pretty good prize. So definitely want to come out for that. And then also one that I've been working on for quite some time now is the university budget recommendation, which has finally going to be done soon. So today we'll be passing the recommendations, hopefully, and then we'll be working on the body text and the rest of the letter to hopefully submit November 1st to the provost. And yeah, so upcoming, I'm kind of working right now on clarifying language and the academic consideration policy around assessment flexibility. So this is one of Kat's platform points. So I'm kind of working on my team to kind of look at what the policy looks like now and potential changes or what that could look like. Again, the Academic Rights Fair is on November 13th, so hopefully you can come out for that. And then, as Kat mentioned, also USC GA. I'm very excited. This is my 3rd GA that I will be going to. I've never been to Sudbury. I think this is the most north of Ontario I'll ever be. So that is going to be exciting. It'll be cold, but it'll be good. And then lastly, the big picture pillar. When I wrote this, I thought it was going to be happening later, but this happened last week. So I got to go to this conference in downtown Innovation Works, and it was where a lot of non-for-profit organizations in London got together to kind of discuss challenges and concerns, and we talked about housing, affordability, and it was just really nice to kind of hear what the different organizations were working on, so it was really great. But yeah, that's all. Any questions? Great, thank you.
Thank you. I invite VP Saeed to the podium to present his exec report.
Thank you. All right. So, oh, I didn't have an ask me about. Ask me about how USC was after USC. So talk to me next week. So top 3 highlights. Number 1 was transportation fare. So that was something on my personal platform when running this job and kind of building off of Michelle's success last year with her housing fair, kind of trying to broaden those things that we do. So that was really fun. We got representatives from all over the place. We had LTC, City of London, Bylaw. We had 2 different bus companies. We had Via Rail there to help us promo our new Via Rail discount that we were able to get. And then a couple of other transportation organizations, especially cycling organizations and things like that. So really fun event. We were able to get the companies to give away almost $2,000 worth of travel credits to students. So hopefully saving students some money, and we were able to give out some merch. So really fun event overall. Highlight number 2 was seeing Simi Lu and playing volleyball with him, and also the petting zoo. They were kind of like equal to me. I really liked the petting zoo on Mental Health Day, so I think seeing both of those were up there. And then number 3 was Friendsgiving. Like Kat said, I hosted one at my place and also went to Sod's, and it was nice. Felt very adulty hosting a Thanksgiving, so that was nice. Updates. So Kat and I recently met with a staffer in the Premier's office, and also have some good meetings lined up from that meeting. She also talked a bit about our LTC delegation and advocacy around LTC. So we've been in constant contact with the chairs of the LTC and some staff there. Still trying to get our hands on some more data, but looking forward to kind of improving the advocacy in the future. We've got our survey up and running, so if you haven't had the chance yet, please fill out that survey. We need the data to show the LTC why we need improvements, and make sure you're sharing it with your faculties. So if that's the one thing you take away from this, is please share that survey. We also met with Councillors Rahman, Frank, who are the Vice Chair and Chair of the LTC, and also City Councillors, and then also Councillors Troso and Ferreira. Troso's also on the LTC Commission, and Ferreira used to be, and they're also just helpful because they're the kind of city councillors for the areas around campus. And then, like Kat mentioned, we met with Parliamentary Secretary Karim Bardisi, who is a federal member of Parliament, and has also been really helpful in setting up our upcoming Ottawa trip with some advocacy and connections there. So really great stuff to come out of that meeting. Upcoming is USC General Assembly in Sudbury, the fall housing fair in collaboration with off-campus housing. So we're kind of splitting up the housing fairs this year because last year's was so big. So the fall one is going to be kind of more of a fall housing, a find housing fair. So we're going to help students. We're going to have a bunch of different landlords and community organizations that provide housing, and also some community supports. And then the spring housing fair will be more kind of tenants' rights focused, and bringing in kind of more of those tenants' rights organizations and things like that. But yeah, we're collaborating with off-campus housing for those. So it'll be kind of a fun to split it up into 2. And then we're also doing federal advocacy and provincial advocacy. We didn't know about the provincial part when I wrote this. But yeah, we're doing some fun things there. So we're going to Sudbury, then Toronto, then Ottawa, and then I've got a conference or something else in Kingston. So about 20 days of travel coming up, which will be fun. Definitely test me and Kat's relationship, but hopefully we'll make it through. But then some specific meetings that we're looking forward is we're meeting with both of our local MPs, Kayabaga and Fragascados, while we're in Ottawa. And then we're also hoping to set up some meetings with Minister Quinn in Toronto. We've got one set up while we're there, which is really great. Hopefully advocating some more, specifically about Bill 33 and work integrated learning are kind of the 2 points that we're planning on talking to him about, but definitely some other advocacy points in there too. But yeah, I wrote some more like detailed stuff in the report, but I'll keep it short. Any questions?
Thank you. I invite VP Welpley to the podium to present her executive report.
Hello, I hope you guys are all doing well and your midterms are going well, or they went well and they are continuing to go well. Some updates from me is we did a Taylor Swift dance party. So this was really fun to see students coming together and enjoying the new album. I can't say I'm a Swiftie, so I fully haven't listened to the new album. I've heard mixed reviews. But some other updates, I met with the off-campus housing with Omar, the housing fair. Angela, my AVP, is working to do a roommate mixer, so similar to O-Week. Some questions that allow students to connect with each other and see what type of roommate they would be, if they care about having pets, if they would leave the dishes out overnight, stuff like this. And then also connecting back to the rights and working with off-campus housing and the OCAs that they have to really give students the support in finding that housing. We collected feedback regarding the orientation program. So collected feedback from those heads-offs and those programming assistants. And then we also, for the first time, did a general SOF roundtable, invited general SOFs to come. However, we didn't see a great turnout. I think we had absolutely no one come to it. So that was a bit disappointing, but understanding that it's a busy time for everybody. So always room to improve in that realm. Updates, LST hiring. So we are beginning the process of hiring the next round of faculty LSTs. So orientation never ends. So that's really exciting. And then Western Stampede. So we had daytime activities all throughout Concrete Beach. I hope you guys came and saw the mechanical bull that we had. And then some other fun carnival games, some fun carnival snacks as well. And then we kicked it off in the evening with our country concert, which seemed to, have a fire alarm that went off in the middle of it. But hey, we balled, and it was still an amazing time. There was no fire. Everyone was safe. It was just funny. Not funny, but yeah. Ironic. Updates. So SOF recruitment, we are finalizing everything with our faculty LSTs, and then finalizing all the SOF recruitment plans. LST interviews. So we partner with all of faculty representatives and sit in on those interviews and kind of make those teams for next year. Convocation volunteering, Love is Blind watch party, which is going to be happening tonight. And then we'll have a soft pub in the works. I realized I jumped right into it and didn't talk about anything else. But the fall menu at the Spoke, super fun. Loved it. The punch card was like my thing. I was so excited to get them all. Recommend. Top 3 highlights, Hoko football game. I think this is the first football game I actually sat and watched the entire thing for, so that was really fun. Thanksgiving, I got to go home and see all my family and haven't been home in a while, so it was really, really wholesome. And purple boots, because it was super fun. Yeah, kind of did that out of order, but does anybody have any questions? Amazing. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I invite VP Massey to the podium to present his executive report.
Hey team, how's it going? Top 3 highlights for myself. Seeing Sarah Fullerton, who was last year's VPOP in Paris. Ton of fun. We biked around the Eiffel Tower at night, and it was very cute. Volleyball with Simu Liu. It's been talked about a lot so far, so I won't add to it too much, but it was just a really cool experience. And he's not very good. I was low-key better. Jenna was better than all of us, though. Yeah, tell that to your best friend. Hiring the PD committee, which is a little less glamorous. But we had just such an impressive slate of people interview, and so it was awesome to see people from all kinds of different faculties and how it's changing their both academic life and work life. So it's a very exciting program. And then ask me about seeing Ethel Kane in the Netherlands. As for my updates, first one is committee hiring. All the student services committees have been hired. It took some time to sort through all the applications since there were more than ever this year. And it's quite a laborious process to conduct a lot of interviews, but we have some amazing teams that are going to be working hard on a lot of programming. And I've been making sure to buy them pastries and whatnot for their first meetings to buy their favor. Next is the student services full rebrand. So the USC census results over the past 2 years revealed to me that many services run by the USC are thought to be run by Western, and occasionally there's the vice versa. So we're going through a rebranding process of our services to strengthen the USC's brand and imaging, as well as updating our promotional materials to be more engaging. As well, some of the logos are just kind of ugly, and it'll be nice to kind of redo them, and we have some really cute things planned. So that's been taking up a lot of recent time. It'll be very exciting to kind of announce that. rolling into second semester, but then everything fully in second semester. And then next is the early club ratification deadline passed. So we had 87 clubs apply for ratification before the October 15th deadline. We've had like 5 since who missed it by midnight, but they won't be considered by the committee, unfortunately, until, not for the early ratification deadline. They'll be considered later. But this is another record-breaking level of engagement for the club system, and I'm very excited to see which ones the club's governance board decides will join the club system on January 15th, and they'll get to be present at second semester clubs week, which is very exciting. And registration for that is probably going to begin right after reading week. So it's exciting, some more different groups. And then upcoming things to look forward to. So we're having a charity unboxing event with a local charity called Lionhearts. So on Monday, November 10th, which is the first day back from reading week, we'll be hosting an event in collaboration with Lionhearts, which is a group founded in Kingston, but they've expanded to operate across southwestern Ontario too. In this event, we'll be bringing in pallets of returned Amazon packages, having student volunteers who register, open them up, and then sort the contents into categories for distribution to other charitable groups around the London region. So basically, they'll find a box, open it up, who doesn't love opening packages, and then be able to sort that into different groups of which charity group could benefit from having that item. So it should be really fun. Our first PRI learning session, we don't have a firm date secured yet, but we're exploring a number of different ones based on our speakers' availabilities. But we're getting everything sorted to have a truly awesome experience. More details will follow soon. But it's just a very exciting thing to be able to kind of launch a new program with the whole PD portfolio. And it's a great set of students to work with. So we'll be sharing details on that very soon. And then gamifying our food drives. So we are approaching Christmas, which tends to be the traditional territory of food drives in terms of where they live in the time of year. And this is something that the USC Charity Committee will be taking over responsibility for the first year ever. And this year we're working to gamify the process to make it more interactive and drive engagement. Are there any questions? Cool.
Thank you. I invite VP Ahmed to the podium to present his executive report.
I hear a bottle of Advil rattling in my pants. I love Advil. Okay, ask me about, it's always a surprise for me too, because I remember what I wrote 2 weeks ago. Ask me about why not to broil focaccia bread at 525 degrees. This was the worst thing that ever happened to me. I love to make focaccia bread. By love to, I mean I've only made it twice. But when I made it I was making it at Friendsgiving, and my roommate put it on 525 broil to broil his other stuff. And meanwhile, my focaccia bread was in there, so I took it out, and it's like it could have been used as a blunt force object, to say the least. It was terrible, but it's okay. So, top 3 highlights. 2 weeks ago, I went on a trip to PEI. So we were staying in this small town called Tignish, which is only like 600 people. Amazing, amazing place. Lovely people. And speaking of lovely people, Tommy Eugene is a man we met who was 7 years old, and he bought us $200 worth of lobster, cooked it for us in his shed, broke it down for us, gave us buttered.
70.
It's not 17, 70, guys. Don't look at me like that. No, guys. Expect better of me, please. Okay. 70-year-old man. You know what? I'm done with Tommy Eugene, but it was good lobster. It's all that mattered. And then Friendsgiving. I don't know if I can agree with Omar that I felt like an adult, considering I was having a screaming match with Kat and my mother on FaceTime at the same time. If you've ever watched The Bear, just imagine Donna, and that was me. Anyway, updates. So we're getting through a lot of faculty councils here. So thanks, guys. I'm still working on reaching out to all of you guys and finishing it off. It's been really good so far. Getting a lot of great feedback, a lot of great engagement, and I'm trying to really tailor these presentations to make more sense for your faculty council, and also tailoring their feedback to get feedback that I think is more relevant to you all. So I really appreciate all your support so far and hope to get that finished off soon. Club events and AGMs. I want to shout out the Arab Student Association barbecue. Me and Kat went to that a few weeks ago with one of my coordinators. Great experience. They had really, really good food, and it was just all these clubs events have been really good to go to so far. I've been into a lot of AGMs so far for the most part, but hoping to diversify the type of events we go to as clubs start doing more and more like casual, more like fun or focus-based events. The first London Public Library card drive happened last week, and it was really successful. We had over 100 library card signups in the atrium, and they're coming back again next month to get even more library card signups, hopefully. So the date they're back is November 10th. So if you guys want to get your London Public Library card on campus to access all the amazing perks that that they have, including free study rooms, free LinkedIn Learning, a bunch of free newspapers, so worth it. Just come next month, November 10th, and you can get it done on campus. Collaborating with clubs. So we've actually started getting some really good work with our coordinators and collaborating with clubs. That's just one of CAT's platform points. It's something that was in our roadmap. Recently, we've been partnering, as my next point says, with the Indigenous Student Association to work on their roots and recognition game, and we've helped support them in both the planning process and soon the promotion process as they begin promoting the game, which will happen this Friday at 8 p.m. Along with that, we're working with clubs such as Salsa Western to figure out what to do for things like Latin Heritage American. That's a lot of words. Latin American Heritage Month, which we've worked with Western International as well to get them, work with them to get to an event with Western International at their Global Cafe this Thursday from 3 to 5 p.m. So that will be really fun. Speaking of roots and recognition, as I mentioned, Friday night, I will be there. I think Wade will be there. I'm about to see. Whether he's going to be there, but it'll be really fun. They've been working the ISA, Indigenous Student Association, has been working really, really hard on making this event as amazing as it will be this Friday, and we'll have performance at halftime. It'll be a lacrosse game. It's going to be really fun. They have buses coming from different Indigenous territories in local to London area, so it's going to be really fun. It's going to be a great community event. And the vlog series. So we did a vlog of me at London Public Library. I don't know if you saw it. I really don't like the first clip that they had was of me like playing an instrument and just going bing, 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 bing. But I'm glad that it seemed to have gone well, because now I have random people coming up to being like, you're the USC guy. I'm like, yes, that is me. And it went so well that we're now going to make it into a series where we kind of promote either the partnerships we have or different services and events that we're doing on campus. So hoping that we're going to get that up and running over the next month and post a couple for all of you in November. Upcoming, so the feedback campaign for Bounce is going well. We still have the link. You can find it on our Instagram and just keep putting any thoughts or feelings you have, and you have a chance to win a Ninja Creamy, which is my life dream. So please go fill it out because one of you deserves to win it. And so we're hoping that figure out more creative ways of engaging and get more information not only on Bounce, but on generally what an app could look like for students as well. And we might be starting to run some focus groups over the next month or two too, so we're just working on that. Western Sustainability is doing a town hall on November 18th in McKellar Theatre, as well as November 21st on Zoom. I will send over the information about all that into the council chat after, but I think this is a really important opportunity for not only US counselors, but those you know in sustainability clubs or even in your faculty councils to go out and have a chance to talk about the Western Sustainability Strategic Plan when it comes to engaging with students. They really, really want to see as many students as possible out there because this is your last chance to be part of the consultations to ensure that the sustainability framework and the engagement plan with students is one that aligns with the student body's needs and wants and their voices. So kind of is just your job. Like we should all be there. Like we should all be giving our student voice and opinion. So try and make it out. I'll send all the information in Slack, even if it's for like half an hour, just enough time to get your voice heard and get your constituents' voice heard would be awesome. And last but not least, as I mentioned, the second library card drive will happen on November 10th. So please show out, get your library card. It's so worth it. I love to study in London Public Library, and I know you all would too. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for any of the execs regarding their reports? Moving on, we have the budget process presentation from President Henriquez.
Hey guys, I'm back. Welcome to Budget Process with Kat. So this, in case you didn't know by the title, is the process that we use for the USC budget. So I'm very excited to walk you through it today. Next slide, please. Thanks, Kay. So this is our timeline. So I know you might be thinking, wow, it is mad early to be talking about next year's budget. But we are like in month 6 of our term. And the way that the USC budgets work are really interesting. We always try to plan for the next year. We are a multi-million-dollar organization. We do have over 70 full-time staff. It is a little bit of an operation to get the budget done. So next month is when our staff and executives are asked to plan their budgets for the following year. And so all of us kind of in the next couple of weeks, along with our senior managers on at the organization, are going through portfolio budgets and then their divisional budgets as well, about like what those budgets should be. So like, what are they planning to do? Are there strategic investments to be made? Do we need more resourcing in certain areas? Are we cutting resourcing from areas? All those fun things. And then mid-December, the budget team, which consists of like the executive as well as our senior management team, look at all the submitted proposals as well as the changes year over year. So we look at past budgets to kind of inform future budgets. And then in January, a draft budget is put together and used as the starting point to build the fee bill. So that's the ancillary fee bill. If you go in your student center, you'll see a breakdown of all of our fees as well as all of Western's fees. They sit on the same fee bill, but you'll see one section that's us and one section that's Western, and you'll see like $3 and something for government and advocacy services and $4 and something for something else. And you'll see your health plan and your bus plan and your dental plan and all those fun things. And then February, parts of the budget are presented to council and the board of directors for review. So obviously we have a multi-tiered governance system. You guys went through the training. I know you love to see it. Each kind of body is responsible for a different area of the budget. So you've got your operational budgets, you've got your corporate budgets, you've got your executive budgets. You guys look at the executive budgets. And then March and April, we take all the approval for all the various bodies, and I present the approved budget to Western's Board of Governors. So the way that fee collection works in Ontario is that the university collects the fees and then dispenses the fees to us. And so we can't collect fees without the Board of Governors' approval. So we go to the Board of Governors, we say, hello, this is our fee bill, don't you love it? They say, hopefully, yes, you're doing a great job, we love you. And then they say, we will collect your fees for the next year. So USC budget, what's in it? I know I already talked about this. I never look at the presentation before I begin speaking. And so you've got your student fee bills. These are all the student fees that you see on your ancillary fee bill. And then you've got your executive budget. So what some of those ancillary fees flow through to. So some of those ancillary fees, go out to organizations like the bus pass goes to the LTC, and the health and dental plan goes through Purple Care and Illumo, like our healthcare providers. And then some of it flows through to the executive budgets for all the the programming and the advocacy and all of the things that the six of us do. And then you've got your operational budgets as well. So like your staffing and capacity, like fun things, like I sign checks for like paper and garbage bags and all the things that you need to run 2 restaurants and a bunch of other things. Maybe for the budget, I will present a list of like the funniest things that I've signed checks for. I signed a check for a box of gloves the other day. That was fun. Next. This is like a motto. I looked at this presentation 2 weeks ago, guys. It's been a long 2 weeks. But this is exactly what the budget is. The budget is our plan and our promise to students that we are being responsible with their money. Fiscal transparency at student associations is really important. Students deserve to know where each and every penny of theirs is going. And so we really try to involve, council and the board and as many students as possible in our budget process so you can see and directly translate where your money is going to what activities we're putting on and what's the impact for students. And so you'll see where we're making strategic investments through the year. The strat plan, it's part of the platform to put that up for review. So what does the next 5 years look like for the USC and for students? So it is personally very exciting to me, and I hope it is very exciting to you as well. Budget considerations. This is always a fun one. So this is essentially like how the USC is funded and how everything works. So I'm happy to go into more detail, but at a high level, there are some fees that we can't change without a referendum. So you guys all know what a referendum is. It pops up on the winter elections. It says, hello, this thing, do you want to spend money on this, yes or no? And students vote. And unless students vote yes, it's not happening. Students vote no, it's not going to happen. And so some of those fees are constructed like through referendum. Like in the referendum, it says like, this is a fee that can only be changed by a referendum. And so it has to go back to referendum and then students will vote, do we still want this thing, yes or no? We are obligated to increase fees, usually based on inflation, but we always prioritize students' wallets first. We've been, really intentional and strategic with the investments that we've made and showing students the value of the services that we provide. And we've also been really intentional about making as minimal changes as possible in a really high inflationary environment. And that's something I think the USC has consciously been working on to ensure that when fees are raised, it's because there's value for students and we're able to provide to either maintain the same service level or increase that service level, but also to ensure that not all of the costs are being put on one group of students all at once. Once the fee bill is approved by council, it cannot be changed. This is just part of the process of the fact that it goes through our governance systems, and it has to go through Western's as well. And then this is a really interesting one. I know every year it can be confusing because it's why is my team setting the budget for next year's team? They haven't been elected yet. I don't know who's going to be up here next year talking to you in a very animated way. But that's why we have Bylaw 1, and there's a provision in Bylaw 1 which allows the incoming executive to reallocate the spending within their portfolios. So essentially, we set this portfolio is going to be $100,000, but the incoming executive gets to decide where that $100,000 is going within the purview of their portfolio. So if somebody runs on a platform to do a very specific thing in their portfolio, or the president runs on the platform and then the VPs execute it, they'll be able to reallocate that. And we went through that reallocation, which was passed at Summer Council. So what you guys saw at Summer Council when you first started, except for my lovely new counselors, who I'm very excited to get to know, but for those of you who have been around for a hot sec, what you guys approved at Summer Council was last year's budget. So last year's team, Emily and team, set the budgets that were approved by the last council, and then we allocated based on the platforms and the priorities and the investments that we were making. And then we put that in front of you guys, which you guys approved. Thank you very much. We're having a great time doing things for students, and you need money to do that, so thanks very much. And then the same thing will happen at next council. So you will approve budget 26, 27. And then Summer Council will approve the allocations made by Exec Team 61 or Exec Team 26, 27. Your role. I love telling people what to do. So in 2026, in February, which only a couple of months away actually, you guys will be tasked with reviewing and approving the executive budgets and the fee bill. So that'll be presented to you at this meeting. Come through the standing committees, all those fun things. And the way that the best role that council can play is looking at the trends as well as the priorities and making sure that our spending aligns with our strategic planning and what students have asked us to do. So making sure that if we've said that we're going to do X, it's reflected in strategic investment in those areas because you need money to do things. Take away from the budget, you need money to do things. Okay, next steps. So what to start thinking about right now? I know February sounds very far away, but it's already midterm season, and then it's gonna be exam season, then it's gonna be holiday break, then it's gonna be elections, and all of a sudden it's gonna be February. Everybody's gonna be like, oh my God. So asking your constituents now about how they want the USC to spend their money. I know a lot of the faculty councils are really engaging with constituencies in a new way. Some of you guys are doing office hours. Some of you guys are going around with little mics and asking people what they want. Do more of that. If you want ideas, happy to give them to you, but ask your constituents how they want the USC to be spending their money, what they want from the USC, what are the services that are they looking for, what are the programming that they're looking for. Review past budgets and ask questions if things don't make sense. If you see a 2,000% increase in a fee, you should ask a question because a fee should not go up by 2,000%. I'm looking at my PBSM creatures over here. You understand how things work, yes. And so does everybody else. I'm very excited. And then finally, be prepared. So when the draft budget is presented in February, please bring your questions and concerns to the floor. It's really important. You represent almost 36,000 undergraduate students. They're counting on your voice to represent their voice. So it's really important that you ask questions and we can get you the information that you need, and really making sure that we're presenting a budget that we're very proud of, because that's your legacy too. This budget is one of the biggest things that you'll pass on this council. So that is a really exciting moment for us all. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is the end of my presentation. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, goodbye.
Thank you, President Enriquez. Invite the chair of the Board of Directors, Grace Wu, to the podium to deliver her Board of Directors report.
Hi, guys. This is actually my first time in the community room, so this is actually quite cozy, especially how cold and rainy it is recently. So this is so nice. So we met as the board of directors recently to go over some things. I'll just go over it by committee. So starting with finance, overall cash-wise, we're performing very strong as usual. Our investments are doing well. Specifically, our student fee revenue has increased by 9%. And there has been a slight decline in our profit from Q3 to Q4, just mainly due to some deferred health, dental, and LTC bus pass expenses going up. But it's not that concerning because the difference is just a matter of timing, and it'll just be reconciled in our current period. The board has approved management to start implementing the strategy of dividing our cash and investments into multiple tranches, just so we can now include our Purple Care reserves in all of USC's cash and management. So fundamentally, there are no changes to our cash and investments. It's just a reorganization of everything that we have going on. If you have any questions on how the tranches are broken down, happy to answer any questions. But in general, it just improves transparency and planning, especially internally. So with our HR committee, the board has approved resolutions for the collective bargaining agreement for unionized full-time and ununionized part-time production staff. And the overall bargaining process was very collaborative, and I'll just leave it at that. There's a lot of details, but don't need to go through that. And then with our governance committee, we've approved changes in our club's policies regarding club's finance procedures, operating policy, and elections procedures. In general, it was just an update of the language to enhance clarity. And there's also a slight detail of pushing the membership deadline a little bit further in the winter time. And then for what's going on in the next month, tomorrow we're getting the audited financial statements presented to the board by PwC, our auditors. And I'll share that with the council for our next meeting. So look forward to that. Are there any questions? I'll take that as a no.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you.
I motion for a 5-minute recess. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Wasti. Are there any objections? We will meet at 7:36 p.m. The recess passes. Counselors, we're waiting on a couple of you still. Please hit to Echo 360 to vote. The motion passes unanimously. Moving on to our second motion from the Governance and Finance Standing Committee, the motion to approve updates to the Speaker terms of reference. The motion reads, whereas the Speaker of Council terms of reference outlines the Speaker's duties and accountability, whereas the current version from 2022 needs updates for clarity and consistency. Be it resolved that Council approve the updated Speaker of Council terms of reference as presented. President Henriquez is the mover. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Chow. Are there any questions regarding the motion? Are there any amendments or points of debate? Are there any objections? Please head to Echo 360 to vote. The motion passes unanimously. Motion 3, again from the Governance and Finance Standing Committee, the motion to approve updates to the Deputy Speaker terms of reference. The motion reads, whereas the Deputy Speaker of Council terms of reference outlines the Deputy Speaker's duties and accountability, whereas the current version from 2023 needs updates for clarity and consistency. Be it resolved that Council approve the updated Deputy Speaker of Council terms of reference as presented. President Henriquez is the mover. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Guman. Are there any questions regarding the motion? Are there any amendments or points of debate? Are there any objections? Please head to Echo 360 to vote. Councilors, we're still waiting on a few of you to vote. Please head to Echo 360 to vote. The motion passes. Moving on to motion 4 from the Governance and Finance Standing Committee, the motion to approve updates to the Council's Summer Authority Policy. The motion reads, whereas the Summer Council Authority Policy allows limited decision-making authority during the summer months to ensure organizational continuity, Whereas the existing 2022 version requires routine updates for clarity, consistency, and alignment with the current USC governance practices. Be it resolved that Council approve the updated Summer Council Authority Policy as presented. President Henriquez is the mover. Can I get a seconder, please? Councilor Master Leonardo. Are there any questions regarding the motion? Are there any amendments or points of debate? Are there any objections? Please head to Echo 360 to vote. Is any counselor having technical issues with their Echo 360 where they're unable to vote? The motion passes. Moving on to motion number 5 from the Agenda and Council Operations Standing Committee, the motion to approve updates to the counselor resignation and replacement policy. The motion reads, whereas the policy guides how counselor resignations and vacancies are handled, whereas recent review found small errors and outdated language, be it resolved that council approve the revised counselor resignation and replacement policy as presented. President Henriquez is the mover. Can I get a seconder, please? Councilor Adhikari. Are there any questions regarding the motion? Are there any amendments or points of debate? Are there any objections? Please head to Echo 360 to vote. The motion passes. And our final 4 action item for tonight from the University Affairs Standing Committee, motion 6, the University Affairs Budget Submission Recommendations. The motion reads, whereas each year the University Affairs portfolio is responsible for the USC's budget submission to the university. Whereas the budget submission should be reflective of the needs of the student body. Whereas the Vice President, University Affairs, has identified recommendations related to crucial themes in our advocacy this year. Be it resolved that Council endorse the University Affairs budget submission recommendations. President Henriquez is the mover. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Chow. Are there any questions regarding the motion? Are there any amendments or points of debate? Are there any objections? Please head to Echo 360 to vote. The motion passes. We do not have any items for information or for discussion tonight. I will open the floor to any questions and comments from the Western community. Please raise your hand. Are there any new business items to be raised? Just a reminder, new business items need to be time sensitive. I motion to terminate this meeting. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Bose, are there any objections to this termination? The time is now 7:49 p.m. This meeting is terminated.